Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Wizards Outlook. Historic night, for Russell Westbrook. We all knew this was coming. There would be two more historic nights this season. One to tie the record, obviously, and then a triple-double that puts him over the record. That said, we talked to you guys the last, 2 nights ago about how important this game was for Washington. They won a very tight one. It was 133-132 in overtime. It was a much-needed win. This win put them a game and a half up over the Pacers to give them sole possession of the 9th spot at the moment. And I think they're a game and a half out of 8th as well. And please correct me if I'm wrong. As always, our esteemed panel, we got Cardell Dudley Jr. here, along with Raymond Lyons. Wilson Tarpe Jr. Now, let's get to it. Cardell, you starting tonight. Just your initial thoughts of Washington in a wild one getting the result that they needed, essentially.
Their stars played a little bit better. They made a couple more plays than Indiana Stars. It was basically a shootout between LeVert and Sabonis against Brad Beal and Russ. And both duos for their respective teams came to play, and not just them. The role players on each team, especially the Pacers, they got a big assist from guys like Sumner and Brissett and all those guys. It just came down to that. And in these type of games, it came down to the little things, which we talked about over the past week in games that the Wizards lost. And we could talk about all the stats that Russ had with the triple-double, tying the big O. Hey, congrats to him. Obviously, Bill was he was going on everybody in Indiana and the state of Indiana. No one could guard him. Like, they threw everybody with him. 50 points. And he was in such a groove, he really could have got more if he didn't get banged up. You know what I mean? So had he not got banged up in the third, the game, it might not have won in the overtime, because that's when the Pacers kind of separated themselves a little bit and Washington had to fight back. But the little things we talked about, getting key stops at the end, which will happen in regulation and overtime. Obviously, Russ sealed it with the game-winner block on LeVert. But free throw shooting, this is what we were talking about. They shot 86%, 26 to 30 from the free throw line tonight. And from three-point range, which has happened all season, they shot 28%. They didn't shoot well. See, they gave themselves a chance to win, because what if they shot their customary free throw percentage, 65%, 70%? They lose this game by double digits. But by the fact that them doing the little things, tightening up the defense late in the game, and then overtime and hitting free throws in a tough, close game on the road, they were able to pull it out. That's what you have to do, man. Like I said, for them, the playoffs already started. It's not, obviously officially it hasn't started, but for them it has, because every win matters and every loss counts, man. And I gotta give a shout out to Gafford too. Russ plays don't matter. Gafford didn't hit the clutch free throws with under a minute left in regulation, and he had a big charge late in the game as well. I believe on Sabonis. So, even though he didn't have the best offensive night, he still was plugged into the game, and that's what role players have to do, man. You can't, in these type of battles, you can't get with so much on the line. You can't get frustrated. You got to stay in the game. You got to have a next play mentality, and that's what they had. I felt like at the beginning of the game, both had sluggish starts for whatever reason. The defense, I don't know. It was bad. The defense for both teams was just horrible. I think literally both teams had damn near 30 points in the paint, and like midway through the second quarter. That was just tough. But as the game went along, they started tightening things up and whatnot. Points in the paint were huge in this game, and it came down to whoever got the stops first. And I feel like Washington, as the game went along, got more stops. Late in the game. The Pacers had 72 points in the paint. Washington had 66. You know what I mean? But they made up for it, like I said, from the free throw line. Like Sumner in the third quarter, I felt like he was the spark. Caris LeVert was making plays knowing what he does scoring, but Sumner in the third quarter with his defense and his ability to score, what he was doing, hitting their shots and going to the lane, going past guys, and finishing inside, I felt like that gave the Pacers, especially with Beal out, they gave them the separation that they needed. But with them, we said it. I said it the other night. They did the same things that the Wizards did when they lost games early in the week, with the turnovers, missing free throws, late on rotations and stuff like that. Just little things that during the moment it may not look like as much, But when you look back at it, the result of the game, when it's an L, you realize how pivotal it was. And that's the difference, man. You know, I just felt like Washington Stars made more plays than Pacers Stars, and the role players stepped up when the team needed them. And that's why Washington won the game.
Go ahead, Ray.
Oh yeah, man. They just started playing defense in the nick of time. That's really what it came down to. You know, in the fourth quarter, they held them to 23 points. You know, and that was their most defensively efficient quarter by a lot. You know, the next lowest scoring quarter for Indiana after that was 30 points in the second quarter. So, I mean, they did what they had to do and got the stops when they needed them. You know, it really would have been disappointing if they weren't able to pull this game out. You know, especially given the performance that Brad had put on, and also Russell Westbrook. And of course, we hope, you know, any injuries from Bradley Beal tonight were minimal, because Lord knows he can't afford to miss any time. But yeah, first, his health is definitely a priority. So, you know, if he's able to go, then it would be, you know, beneficial to have him out there, of course. But if he can't, then he definitely has to take care of his body. But yeah, man, the game started off, it was just kind of helter-skelter for both teams. You know, Bradley Beal, he just wasn't showing them any respect. He went at them and just came out torching. He had 26 at the end of the first half. So yeah, he was treating them how one of the leading scorers in the league should treat people that don't play defense. But yeah, man, the Wizards, they made the plays when they needed to. You know, so, and that's sometimes what it comes down to. Like, every game's not going to be perfect. You know, some wins are uglier than others, but it's a win nonetheless. And you know, it was big for them to close out the game without having Bradley Beal. You know, because a lot of times he's kind of one of their safety nets going down the stretch, especially on the offensive end. So, you know, for them to be able to withstand and still create opportunities without him on the floor, you know, it was big, man, and they deserve credit for that. But again, I hate to see them kind of limping down the stretch like this. You know, even though they are stringing together wins, you know, the play is inconsistent. And, you know, it just doesn't bode well for the position they're in. You know, I like to see them go into the postseason with a little more momentum. You know, so we'll see how it shakes out. They still got a few games left, so of course it can be turned around. But yeah, man, a win is a win. I'll take it any day. But you know, if they can just stretch out those periods where they're covering all the bases more throughout the game, then it'll be just fine.
And, you know, real quick, Wilson, before you start, the turnovers. Noticing a nasty trend with that, they starting to turn the ball back over a lot. Last game, I think they had 15 turnovers. Tonight they had 18, and with the Pacers scored 27 points off that. So if you just take care of the ball, the game not even close. You know what I mean? And that's an ugly habit that's coming up as, you know, playoffs is nearing. And you know, look, Russ had a historic night, so we ain't gonna harp on it too much. But he had 7 of them. You know what I mean? Yeah, you gotta chill with that. They've been through. You know, Pacers kind of. They threw a wrinkle in there that a lot of teams haven't been doing. They throwing traps from all over the court at Russ to make him make a decision. You know, speed him up and stuff like that, and you know, pretty much test his decision making at times. So that's something he wants to watch film on and get ready for. I'm not saying he hasn't seen it before, but it's different now because obviously during the OKC years, even in Houston, the year he was in Houston, the Wizards don't have the same type of firepower. So you can't just literally pass it in anybody and they're gonna hit a 3 or something like that. You know, you gotta be wary of your personnel. So regardless, you know, he gotta watch that ball and all. You know, they pulled it out. Atlanta on Monday.
Yeah, I don't really have too much to add. Like you said, historic night, well deserved for, you know, anybody, beyond well deserved to even, you know, when he was approaching this, it was worth talking about, even more so that he tied it. I'm sure no one has any doubt that he will surpass it before the end of the regular season if he stays on, you know, just the path that he's been on. The last 7 seasons have been ridiculous from him in terms of the overall impact he's had on games, especially with the triple doubles, because it wasn't something it wasn't like, you the OKC years. It wasn't like he's been piling them up since then. It's like it's been crazy over the last 7. It's been nuts where we kind of started expect it. And what is this, the 4th year of averaging one? Like it's been crazy. So he definitely go ahead, Cardo.
And Quinn Buckner, for those that don't know, legendary Hoosier, played with the Celtics or whatnot in the 80s or whatnot. He mentioned something, and it wasn't like a slight at Russ. He was just mentioning how guys are averaging more triple doubles because of the style of play. When you shoot a lot of threes, which this area is, it's a lot of long rebounds. So those rebounds are going over the bigs, and the guards are getting those rebounds. Now I know Russ will go in the paint, mix it up with the big man, where I know he has no problem doing that. So he would still be averaging a lot of rebounds. I'm not sure a triple double level. Let's say if it was the 80s and 90s where things went through the bigs. You know what I'm saying? But that's why you also see the faster style of play. More threes, longer rebounds, you out to the races. Because the defense, mostly the bigs, are sucked in. So let's race. And it's guard on guard before the bigs come down and get their defense set. And now, we got to run a set to try to score on us. So he made a great point about that. And that's what it is. That's what the intention was when they kind of took the rules out, freedom of movement and all that. They wanted to speed up the game and just make it more of a, guard-oriented skill game, and that's what they're doing. So, 80s and 90s, you didn't see as much triple doubles from guards outside of like Magic Johnson or Jason Kidd or somebody like that. And wings like Grant Hill and Penny at times, guys like that. You ain't see it a lot because the rebounds were shorter. Misses was right there, and the bigs definitely gonna get those. So that plays a big role in what he's saying. But at the end of the day, Russ being as consistent and relentless as he is, being the dog that he is, the consistency, no one has been able to do that because no one brings it like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I always thought that LeBron would do it. Honestly, when he first came in, I thought he would get Oscar. I anticipated. I was like, I felt like he would get it. But the fact he hasn't gotten it once, but Russ has, tells you how special it is. And mostly, honestly, how tough it is. I know I got one in college, and hands down, that was the most tired I've ever been on the basketball court. I'm just keeping it real. I was done. So for him to do it over 82 with that energy in 4 years, that's stupid. That's ridiculous. So yeah, much respect to him for that.
Yeah,
I mean,
go ahead, right?
It's going to be crazy that if he keeps up this pace, he's going to be well into the 200s for career triple doubles. Like.
But you know what's wild? I looked at a graphic the other day, and I think Luka got like 50. It's something crazy. It's something crazy. Like
he
walking down quietly. It's something stupid, man. Like I'm like, dog. He might walk Russ down. Like he's on. I could be wrong. I think, but it was like, this is only his 3rd year. It's like, hold up, how you get that many triple doubles already? Yeah, you see what I'm saying? It's just, it's a couple youngins that's on the path to breaking his jump. So, but triple double, man. Honestly, as an individual player, I know a lot of guys from the DMV, they wanted to get 30. My mentality is getting a triple double and locking out whoever I'm guarding, because I feel like if you're doing that, you literally are dominating every aspect of the game. So, can no coach really fault you for anything? Because it's like I'm giving you everything. You know what I'm saying? So to help us win. So you can only respect that. And I know people bash Russ like, man, it's piling stats. I'm like, man, look, there's no such thing as piling a triple-double, dog. You got to go in there and earn those boards. I could pass you the ball, but if you can't score or shoot, I'm not going to get the assist. So it's tough to do that. And then go in there and get 20 to 30 points, depending on which year, which role he's playing and stuff like that. That's to sustain that energy, like I said. I got one. It was hard as hell. It was exhausting, and that was college. That wasn't even the league. So much respect to him, man. You know what I mean? So, I'm looking forward to seeing him break it. Set a new standard.
Yeah. All right. So I just want to double check with the Luka thing. So he doesn't have 50 yet. He's at 35, and that happened this week. But he's the second fastest.
That's what I saw. Yeah,
now, I got you. Crazy. He's the second fastest to 35 after Oscar. And again, what we were saying was, Russ wasn't on his track the early years in his career, which speaks volumes to the last 7. Because, again, to do it within 7, thinking about how long he's been playing, he wasn't on that road early. And like you said, Luke is starting early, and Russ started kind of with this. And that's going to be a whole thing to watch going forward. And again, this is the thing we've been saying about bigs, the quality of bigs over time. And you mentioned with the rules changing again, do you know what your motor has to be like to routinely be in this neighborhood? Because I'm with Cardell, like maybe second year of Bron, I was like, oh, he should be averaging one. I just took it for granted. I was like, oh, he's gonna be the guy that does it. Because think about how he naturally plays. You 6'8" to whatever, you're already a mutant. Just yeah. And again, shout out to Russ. This is ridiculous. And again, to me, tonight it means even more right now this year because they need each and every one of these wins right now. Like they need them. It's not coming in meaningless games. Mind you, however they got here, that they need them. The point is that they need them. And they needed every bit of what did he have? They needed every bit of his 33, 19, and 15 tonight. Considering Brad had a 50 ball and didn't finish regulation. And that backcourt, like you mentioned, Carter, it was crazy to watch them go nuts tonight. And like you guys both mentioned, they got it. It was cool that it's like a weird trade-off. So like they'll go from checking off some boxes and leaving other ones unchecked. Now they move to tonight. They killed them on the glass, did a great job at the free throw line, but then turned the ball over and defense was for most of the night. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's the hard part with them is finding some consistency, but that also speaks to why they are in the place that they are right now. Because I know everyone's getting crazy, you know, I know the national media is jumping in now and, you know, really giving them pub, and that's great. But there's a reason they're in the play-in spot because of the inconsistencies. No one's talking about the talent, it's just the inconsistencies.
And a lot of that is a big part of that, but also I know everybody looking at Russ getting healthy, but the key trade, man, that Gafford trade, that saved their season because you know Russ was starting to give triple doubles when you saw his leg getting better before Gafford got here. It was still losses, but you know teams recognize the importance of Gafford because you see they're starting to attack him more. Like they started attacking with quick guards to get him in foul trouble, get him off the floor. They recognize his impact. That's what kind of changed everything. The athleticism, the defensive presence inside, man. And like you said, to make it the last thing about Russ, the triple doubles are impressive because think about it, the league is you know it's vicious, it's competitive for the most part. You know, some guys that leave a lot to be desired, some teams, but think about it. I'm not trying to let this dude break big old record on us. You know, I ain't trying to be the history books for that. So you trying to stop him? You know what I mean? But it's hard to do, man. That dude motor, like you said, LeBron, he gets it effortlessly, but he don't have a motor, Russ, man. He ain't really like he's not relentless like Russ. Like I'm going to get those boards. Of course, he's gonna get his assists and points, but the key thing is the boards. You really got to fight and go in there and get those things, and they're not always easy to get. So you know, respect to him, man. Hell of a feat.
Yeah, my last little thing, and the biggest thing for me with those boards, they come on both ends of the floor.
Yeah.
It's one thing they're always defensive, but they're key offensive rebounders. He's in there mixing it up on both ends. So again, shout out to him. Quick message from Ooze and Oz, and we'll get into y'all's comments, which we thoroughly enjoyed. And just a reminder, so far, you know, all the YouTubers, you guys do a great job leaving comments. And to the YouTubers, whenever you guys do see this, I think someone asked in the comments, and I'll answer it once again. If you want to comment live, it's after Wizards games. Give us like 30 minutes or so. Within 30 minutes after games, we start Wizards Outlook. And as far as it being live, it's live on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So that's where it's live. That's where you can comment live. Outside of that, you know, we'll continue to do what we're doing, which is Cardell's going through y'all's messages, y'all's comments, you know, the day afterwards, and we share them here. But again, quick message from Ooze and Oz. We will be right back. Do you have your Mother's Day meal planned yet? Ooze and Oz Soul Food Restaurant is here to help you with their Mother's Day special. It's available May 7th through May 9th. The special includes your choice of 4 entrees, 3 large sides, and 4 desserts for $64.95. It's available at both the U Street and Georgia Avenue locations. If you order from the Georgia Avenue location, you can add 2 cocktails or 4 beers for $74.95. Order online now to schedule your pickup. Available Friday through Sunday. To order online or get the address for both locations, head to oozeandoz.com. That's OOZNAAHHS.com. oozeandoz.com. Do you have your Mother's Day meal planned yet? Ooze and Oz Soul Food Restaurant is here to help you with their Mother's Day special. It's available May 7th through May 9th. The special includes your choice of 4 entrees, 3 large sides, and 4 desserts for $64.95. It's available at both the U Street and Georgia Avenue locations. If you order from the Georgia Avenue location, you can add 2 cocktails or 4 beers for $74.95. Order online now to schedule your pickup. Available Friday through Sunday. To order online or get the address for both locations, head to oozandoz.com. That's OOHSNAAHS.com. Oozandoz.com. All right, y'all. We're going to get to these comments in just a little bit. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I know we already got a comment or two on IG. So the first comment before we get into our regular comments from JLud34. As always, appreciate you for tuning in. So I'm gonna say thank you to JLud34, 2 Loves 2, R. Carthen. Appreciate you, Ron. What's up, Vincent? And then XW Brown. All you guys watching on IG, we truly appreciate you. He had a quick question, and I don't think we know the answer yet. It was just how bad is Brad's injury? Did he play in the end because he couldn't watch the game? He was into the end of regulation, literally. I think he left at within the last 20 seconds, he left the floor. I still haven't seen exactly what happened, but I know during the broadcast they were saying he fell on his hip. So I mean, we will, I'm sure we will see if you guys follow us on social. As soon as we see something, we'll have it. What'd you say, Cardell?
Nothing.
Oh, okay.
You good.
As soon as we see it, I know Cardell will post whatever press release we get from Washington when they have something. So as Ray said, we hope it's nothing too serious because can't really afford to lose that.
Yeah.
Like they can't at all. Man had 50 on 31 shots. Didn't play the entire regulation. Kind of need both of those, both members of that backcourt to get this thing done. All right, so we're gonna get into this. All right, Ray, what we doing? Accepting or deferring?
We accepting.
All right. We're going to start with Eric Reeves. I swear the end of the fourth reminded me of rec league basketball. LOL. Bertans is straight food. Defensively, the Wizards are lost. The constant switches where Bertans is getting killed is beyond me. Bertans is a huge liability defensively. Playoffs, Bertans is going to get mauled. Shaking my head. The mistakes the Wiz made, we did when I was playing 12 and under. Damn near pulled my hair out when Beal went to the corner. Anyone who played basketball knows the main cardinal rule is you never go to the corner in any situation. Trap city. Coaches can't stand that. For Brad as a veteran NBA player should know better. Why? I'm like again. So he clearly can't get over this, as we couldn't after last game. I could feel the emotion while reading it. Things could have turned out different if that jump ball possession went to Toronto, correct? We won the game, but the Wizards have got to do a better job with the basic fundamentals. Playing basketball, not going to the corner is a basic fundamental. It's the little things that separate the okay teams from great teams, just keeping it a buck. All right, Ray.
Yeah, man. The end of the game the other night was pretty disjointed. It's no denying that. And yeah, Bertans, we've harped constantly on his struggles on the defensive end of the floor, and I mean it's obvious. There's no need dancing around it. He's like you said, he's food. in the playoffs, I mean, he's getting mauled right now and has been for the entire season. Like if the game is close down the stretch, the best scorer on the other team just finds Bertans and goes to work, So, I mean, it's no amount of talking is going to change that. It just is what it is. And yeah, the execution, like I think we talked about it the last show, that go to the corner on the inbound at the end of the game, it never works for them. For the reasons that was stated in the comment, like that's just a bad place to go. Like Cardell pointed out, you're giving the defense a extra defender with the sideline and the baseline. So I mean, yeah, they got to get away from that. I just can't comprehend why that continues to happen. I know you want to get the ball to Brad, but Brad's got to stop running to that short corner. I mean, nothing's good ever going to come of that. And yeah, like the little things we continue to talk about, if the Wizards did those things consistently, their record would be a lot better, because a lot of these games they've lost have been, because of small things that are totally within their control, that they just have failed to consistently execute at a high level. So yeah, man, that's one of the separators from, teams at the average level and the next level up. I mean, it just is what it is. Like, good teams don't make mistakes and beat themselves and give other teams opportunities to win games. And so that just is what it is, man.
Cardell, did you want to chime in, or you good?
Yeah, I'm not gonna get on Bertans. So everybody knows where I stand with that. But as far as the basic fundamentals of playing basketball and the frustration about that, you echo the sentiments of every NBA coach. You'd be surprised on these Zoom calls and stuff, pre and post game throughout the season, how many coaches are just, they're frustrated. They're frustrated with the things that they expect NBA players to know and be able to execute. They don't know. They don't. I mean, just look at defense. They don't even know how to close out. They close out standing straight up. I mean, who can't beat that? You know what I mean? They close. They don't know how to stay in front of their man. I can't count how many times I've seen dudes do a move and the defender would get beat and spin completely around to try to get back in front of them. When that's a cardinal sin, you don't turn around on defense. You just pivot and try to slide back in front of him, get between him and the goal. It's just little things where it is rampant across the league. And I think Steve Kerr spoke about it a couple of weeks ago when the Warriors had a bad loss. And you're like, these guys don't know how to box out. He said the reason why they don't know how to box out is because they haven't been getting yelled at for 8 years in high school and college. They haven't been being held accountable. You know what I mean? Coaches let them slide with that because they're athletic and highly ranked and, scoring a lot. But when you get to this level, it gets exposed. But guess what? You're going against a player that was ranked, highly athletic, and good in their own right. You know what I mean? So that's what you see the scarcity of, is just the fundamentals, of basketball. And that's why you see so much up and down play, with the majority of the league. Outside of, I guess you could say, the Phillies, teams like that, that's kind of been consistent throughout the year.
All right, on to the next one. Cardell, this is for you. It's from Inturbulent. The bench was stellar yet again. Been a nice surprise with their consistency lately. Having Roy would have been nice, but like I said, the next man up is doing enough to get the W. Gill has been better recently. Matthews with the 4-point plays and his ability to draw fouls is invaluable. Mental mistakes need to be rectified, i.e. Brooks being more aware of things and fouling when it's advantageous to do so. It happened earlier this year, and it seems he hasn't learned from that, which is disappointing. That said, it was a solid effort. Grind out an ugly W is fine to me, as long as it's a W. So are you, Mr. Dudley.
I mean, my man, you just answered your own question. You said mental mistakes, right? So you recognize that's the issue with the team. You really think Scott Brooks is telling them not to foul in those late game situations? He even spoke on it. He don't trust them to commit the foul. That's the problem, man. He literally said that. He said that early in the year. So he just playing the odds to try to win the game. This is what I mean by you can't fault him. You got to look at the players. They've played enough basketball at this point, unless they're a rookie or something like that. But even then, it makes no sense because like say Denny, before he got hurt, he's a rookie, but he's playing in EuroLeague since he was about 14, 15 years old. So he's played a lot of big-time basketball against pros. So you should know situations late in the game when you got a foul to stop the clock, send it to the free throw line so you get another possession, try to cut into the lead. And that's what that's all about. That comes down to the players being mentally strong and in tune and making a play. I mean, the coaches can't play for them, man. So when you see that happen enough, which we have early in the season, literally lose games by just not fouling when they should have fouled, and you can see the bench yelling at them, get to them. Oh, yeah. Now they're waking up. It's too late. It's too much time off the clock, or they got the ball up court and they just running the clock out. When that happens, hey, man, you lose trust real quick. So, no, I'm going to play the odds. Look, just play sound defense. Let's get the rebound. And you just want to adjust. So, without knowing that you answered your own question regards to that. And, yeah, not saying Brooks is the perfect coach, but this definitely don't apply to him. You got to look at the players.
Ray, did you have anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, some things a coach shouldn't have to tell you to do. Like Cardell said, man, you got enough basketball under your belt at this point to know what situations require what. Like, that's like blaming Scott Brooks for a shot clock violation. Like, I don't care if you run a play and it don't work out. If you got the ball and you know it's 1 second left on the shot clock, you know you gotta shoot it to avoid a turnover, right? So, yeah, being mentally in tune with the game is a necessity to be an effective player, man. Like, if you can't process what's going on your own accord, then you really shouldn't be on the floor.
All right, quick update from the Wizards Twitter account. Injury update on Bradley Beal. It's a left hamstring strain. He will be evaluated further tomorrow. So the good news is it's not a hip. The bad thing, it's a hamstring.
We just saw what the KD went through trying to get back from that, man. Right when the playoff, man.
And those things are nagging.
And this was a good win, but it's not over. And you got the Hawks on back-to-back. Yeah, damn, dog.
Yeah.
The lead real. What can we say, man?
Yeah, KD had one. James Harden's still out from one.
Yeah.
There's been multiple players taking L's off hamstring strains. And tears and And that's the other thing is, even if you get cleared, it's not the end all be all. It's not like everything's good. There's some folks.
Gotta get past this part. Like, can I make that cut? Nah, that's why I got hurt. Russ, go ahead and shoot this dog like this. Hey, that's how it be when you hurt, man.
As soon as you get to thinking, you're in trouble. So it's tough. But on to the next question, Ray. I believe this is yours. Again, it's your time again. I think this is GK Wilson. I want to say thanks so much, but I'll not comment on the game and take the win. I am very much baffled at how these are NBA players. They're struggling inbound the ball in clutch moments. It looks like everyone runs away and let Beal get strapped. You guys mentioned how we can't expect a foul in that situation because the refs have been bugging. But still, I'm tired of the ending in tight games, always playing out the same damn way. Luckily, we won, but I hope we can correct that and beating the Hawks. Ray, the one little thing, I'm going to throw about 2 cents and then I'm going to get out your way. Just want everybody to keep in mind, like, to the effect that COVID has affected this season, they're not practicing. I know a lot of y'all think that doesn't matter. They're not getting a chance to work. Like, you're just talking through stuff. And Cardell's mentioned several times how young this roster is. Talking through stuff is not going to do it for young players. You have to show it to them. They got to do it. Then they got to do it multiple times and you're not getting practice. So this, go ahead, Ray. I'm sorry.
Hey man, I'm just as much as baffled as you are, GK. Like, this is crazy. Like, these type of things shouldn't be happening continuously. Like, it's just wild, man. And yeah, you're right. It looks like everybody runs when Brad gets the ball. Nobody is there to kind of relieve the pressure or anything. They just run away and let him get smothered in the short corner that he shouldn't have ran to in the first place. But even if he does go to that corner, as the inbounder, don't put him in that bad spot. Like, I don't get it, man. I'm glad I don't have to deal with that. Like, it was bad enough having to deal with it when I coached high school. Like, I would probably be tossing chairs if I had to deal with those type of mistakes at the NBA level.
Not chairs. Cardell?
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, at this point I'm just numb to it. For my sanity, I'm not about to expect more than what it is. Look, man. I just believe what I see, man. It is what it is. Once somebody show you who they are, you just believe them, man. Right? Maya Angelou. So it's no different in this situation, man. You know what I'm saying? But it also, being all, serious, it kind of shows who wants the ball or not. You know what I mean? Who wants it in that moment and who shine away from that moment. You know what I mean? So we all know Beal won it. You know what I mean? And teams gonna focus on him and Russ. Other guys gotta be willing to go there and get the ball. I know they set screens and in motion or whatnot, trying to get guys open or whatnot, but you got that internal clock going when you know it's getting close and guys ain't getting open. Man, go right to the ball, give it to me. You know what I'm saying? Then as an inbounder, make yourself open. Once you get the ball in, you should flash and run in. So Bill can throw a quick pass, and now you off to the races. You know what I mean? So it's ways to do it, man. But like I said, at this point, I'm just numb. I'm not expecting too much in certain situations, man. That's on you if you are. You know what I mean? You just stretching yourself out. You just gotta understand what it is, man. But the main thing is just play better defense and stuff, and can take care of the ball, so you're not even in those situations to begin with.
All right, this was for you, Cardell. It's a really tough one. What do you have to say for yourself, sir?
I've been told, man. I've been told, but it's gonna stay that way too. Everybody don't like truth, but
Wilson, you gotta cue the Jeezy song, man.
Hey, look, I'm gonna try to. Hey, look, just remind me. Send me a text tomorrow. Make sure I'll just keep it loaded in here, and you just tell me when I need to play. All right, Ray, back to you now. Cardell out here cheat, and that happened to fall on his side too. From Ball Jr. Let me say I'm shocked that this is you saying this. Came a long way, sir.
Hell yeah, Mr. Westbrook level, leader of the coach. Yeah,
I'm sure you are celebrating tonight as you should. I can only imagine. For Ball Jr., Brooks is a solid coach. He keeps the players motivated and playing hard. That's the most important thing. They don't have the personnel defensively, and his offense is what it is. He couldn't get it right coaching KD, so good luck with anybody else he's doing good with. What he has, because this, without question, the worst roster in the NBA. Nobody knows these guys that we're just rolling out there every night. Lord.
Yeah.
Here you go, right? I take back my initial statement. I thought it was solid. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I didn't. You had me in the first half. Cue up that meme. Go ahead, Ray.
It's a lot going on in here, man. But I mean, yeah, Brooks is a solid coach. Definitely. We've been saying that, like, nobody ever said he's Greg Popovich or anything like that. But I mean, he's a solid coach. And keeping players motivated is definitely important, especially in a season like this, because it's easy to tap out. It's easy to tap out, man. It's like a built-in excuse. You got, COVID you got to deal with. They had injuries, So I mean, they could have. It's teams that would have packed it in this same situation. Like, being perfectly honest. Yeah, and we've talked about the roster and the deficiencies there. But I mean, he couldn't get it right coaching KD. I mean, they went to the finals and it was in the playoffs every year. Like, I mean, I guess, like, it's crazy because anything short of a championship now, people see it as failure. But then on the flip side, the standards for quote unquote greatness are so low, and people that haven't won at a high level are heralded as these all-time players. So I don't know what people expect now. Like, so yeah, that whatever, man. But yeah, and I really don't think this is the worst roster in the NBA. Just because you don't know who they are, that doesn't mean anything. I mean, it's not a great roster by any stretch. We've said that, but it's a few teams out there that would like some of these guys on their team. Like, it's teams out there that could use Bradley Beal, Westbrook, Gafford. I'm pretty sure Chicago wants him back. So yeah, man. So we got to get this sensationalism out of these comments, man. This was a wild one. Like, it started off strong, but that thing fell off a cliff real fast.
I told you, he had me in the first half, man. Had me in the first half. Immediately take away my praise. Like, nah, we appreciate each and every one of you guys for tuning in and for comments. And Cardell, did you have anything, or you want to keep it moving?
I got a lot to address with Russell Westbrook this second. Look here, man. Look, Brooks is a solid coach. You're right about that. But to say they're the worst person, they got the worst roster in the league. Have you seen the standings? Do you watch basketball outside of Russell Westbrook? See, this is what I be talking about. Here we go. You know what I mean? It's an angle to try to boost Russ. If y'all not paying attention, look at what he's saying. It's the worst roster in the NBA. So with Russ averaging this crazy triple double, now he gonna boost him. Y'all been paying attention. Y'all see what he does, man. Now you know. Next thing you know, probably next game he gonna be saying he better than Magic Johnson or something like that because he break the record with the worst roster in the NBA. Magic couldn't do this with this roster. I mean, that's what they do. The narratives. He's setting it up. But let's get it right. You said he couldn't get it right coaching KD. Who's the point guard on that team? Now I'm about to hurt you. Now I'm about to get you. It was Russell Westbrook. He wasn't the most savvy as a playmaker at that time. It was plenty of times when KD needed the ball and he was taking those tough shots. Have people forgotten? Like what the comment a couple of comments say ago, keep it too real. Now I'm about to keep it real. So there's a reason why KD left. It's the reason why KD left. So you can't put that all on Brooks. Like we said, it comes down to the players' decision making. That hasn't been one thing early in Russ' career where they were saying, you know, he's elite at that. It was questioned a lot. You got this efficient scorer, can't nobody guard, and you jacking threes on 3-on-1 breaks with the late in the fourth quarter and stuff like that. It was a lot of empty possessions with him early in his career. And even now, he still makes some iffy decision making. One particular early in the season, Beal had 60 points. Then in the fourth, he's still taking tough threes and stuff like that. Yo, he has 60. He's not missing. Get him the ball. Ride him to the win. It's simple. Common sense. So that's one of the knocks on Russ throughout his career. He's not a pure point guard where he understands the proper decisions to make and stuff like that. He's gotten a lot better since then. But back then, when in the OKC days, he had a big issue with it. He struggled with that. And if you remember, in those early OKC days, especially the year they got to the finals, James Harden was closing the game running point like he is now with the Nets. It wasn't Russ. There's a reason for that. So let's keep it a buck. I know you're a big-time fan and all that, man, but keep it real. Keep it real about that. That wasn't on Brooks. And they were super young. They were going up against a veteran Miami team. I mean, and then after that, management made a mistake of letting Harden go, not re-signing him, and then the wheels fell off. So, and then he got fired once the wheels fell off. So, I mean, how are you looking at him for that? He only got one shot at it.
All right, we're going to keep it moving. And again, with that, you know, what happened to OKC is going to end up being an outstanding 30 for 30 down the line. We all know that's coming. It's going to be a quality 30 for 30. I already reserved my popcorn. I can't wait for it. It's going to be special. I was from Big O. Cardell, I think this is on you. Facts on all of it, but Brooks anyway, he deserves more blame for our late game execution. Y'all gonna keep harping on this, I see. What are you doing in practice if your team isn't prepared to close games? All right, for like the last time, I'm gonna say this one more time this year. COVID has affected the league so much this year. They are not having consistent practices as they have had in the past. There was a time, I think the Nets were talking about, like, they went 2 months before they had a solid practice. That's a team that just got together before they had a solid practice. And, you know, practice, I know a lot of people don't care about. It's kind of important. It's where you go to shore things up, to work on things. If folks aren't practicing consistently, this is why this year's been nuts. We like, there's not a team in the league we haven't seen, like, just do dumb things throughout this season. And then we've seen at times, like, like the Wizards just had their last back-to-back. This is like, what is it, like single-digit games left? Where they had their final back-to-back. Then now they're playing every other day. This isn't a video game. Like, you still have to, maintain their bodies and everything else. Folks ain't getting practice time like they have in the past. This is just a tough year period. Again, this last I'm saying, because y'all keep throwing, what are they doing in practice? They're not practicing. So, I don't know what to tell y'all. He's also his fault for leaving a Latvian appetizer out there for Siakam to eat. Again, consistent buckets. Y'all are killing me right now. Beal and Russ have been clutch at times, but they fall short at moments too often for me. Every fan who watches him consistently knows that anytime Beal's run to the corner is unsuccessful. Lastly, thank God for Captain Hook being more clutch at the free throw line. And Beal, this game, will take the dub, but damn, they make a brother want to drink. And how do I comment live? All right, first of all, if it makes you want to drink, probably not the greatest thing to do. This season, because it's tough watching basketball and sports period. Secondly, as far as how do you comment live, like I said, within 30 minutes after every Wizards game, we usually get Wizards Outlook started. So whether it's here on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, that is when it is live. Otherwise, we will continue to read your comments straight off of YouTube, when you guys see it the following day. But Cardell, this is yours. I feel like you answered most of this in the last question, but
there's a couple more things. Well, one, not blaming Brooks for the late game execution. One, we're not in a huddle. We're not telling. We don't know what plays he's calling. Two, it don't matter the play. You can know the play is coming, but if you execute it well, you can still be the defense that's set up for it. We see it all the time. Ain't nothing new in the league. So it's just the personnel running it. You know what I mean? So no, that's a player's thing. Obviously, they're not practicing like Wilson said. So it's literally a lot of film study and walkthroughs. And most of the walkthroughs are time oriented. So you're trying to stay in rhythm, getting your shots up. So you're sticking to your routine. This is a time I'm gonna kind of stand up for Bertans. Yeah, I mean, he can't guard Shotgun, but a lot of dudes can't. But at the same time, the Raptors were putting in a lot of little gimmicky defenses, boxing ones, throwing 3 dudes at Beal, doubling Russ and stuff. You needed somebody out there with the threat of shooting the ball from deep to spread the floor. Because you can't, I mean, I get you might you can't, with all due respect, you can't put Bonga in that situation because he can't guard Shotgun either, even though he's a better defender than Bertans. You're not going to stop Shotgun. He's an all-star for a reason. And he's not a threat. You're not really in fear of him making threes and spreading the floor. So, yeah, I'm going to just keep trapping and doubling until he makes me pay otherwise, which I know the odds of that are in our favor. So you got to also pay attention to personnel to game of the team that you're playing. Beal and Russ have been clutch at times, but they fall short in these moments too often for me. They've been getting it done their fair share in the second half, man. Like, everybody's not going to be clutch every time. It's just not realistic. Obviously, Beal needs to stay out the corner. He knows that. But at the same time, watching some of the film, he just trying to get to the spot to get the ball so it ain't a turnover, because they have a hard time getting open. And thank God for Rolo, Captain Hook, being more clutch at the free throw line than Beal this game. Yeah, he has some big free throws, but I'm not about to say he's more clutch than Beal. You know what I mean? You got to calm down with that. But, you know what I'm saying? But, we'll take the dub, but damn, they make a brother want to drink. I don't recommend that. I personally don't drink, but, look, if it's bothering you that much, man, sometimes you just got to turn the channel, come back to it, follow the game on ESPN, and see what happens, man. I do it all the time. I'm a Broncos fan. It's been rough since they won the Super Bowl. Hey, look, I feel your pain. That's what I'll leave it at that.
It's the most responsible thing I've heard. And yeah, as someone who's also a fan of teams that have been bad, it's what I've been doing with UConn men's basketball for like 5 years. I just started watching again. So yeah, sometimes a tweet does it for me sometimes. I don't need to sit through that. Care about my mental health. Sometimes you got to just let it go. Ray, did you want to chime in or you want to move on?
Only thing I want to say is this Captain Hook being more clutch than Beal, even if you want to talk about the last game. All right, cool. He made some free throws. They were huge, but 10 times out of 10, I'm sure you're going to Beal late in the game before you going to Robin Lopez. And they starting to sniff out that little hook too. So my man days might be numbered. So, but yeah, we got to keep things in perspective, man. Like Beal and Russ have closed too many games this season for the Wizards for people to be
tonight,
right, and for people to be attacking them like in regards to their clutch play. So yeah.
Because what is it, Batadze on Indiana? He caught 2 of them hooks tonight. He got hands on.
Yeah, exactly.
And then again, I'm not trying to be funny, just saying like Ray said, Cardell always says when things don't really get serious, so folks get on the scout report. When you get on a scout report and people start treating you a little bit differently, and you see how you respond. We hadn't seen Rolo get that hook shot punched. It was just either it went in or it missed. Goga got both. Like, he got 2 of those things tonight. Then he started questioning, it changes the way you're going about getting things up. When somebody can reach it. He's been going for like the last 2 months. Nobody's reached it. It's been safe. Ray, this last one's for you. It's from Sobin. All right. Give me a second. Let me get this banner out of here. Y'all are really testing my eyes tonight. Appreciate y'all. I know Bertans got paid his $70 million and all, but seriously, the dude isn't playing well. I laugh every time Cardell says Bertans is food for the opposition, but it's true. The guy's just a liability every single game. I mean, when he's playing well, what does he give us? Maybe 5 threes in a game, so 15 points. But when he's keeping the opposition fat and happy on offense, he's not even giving you 15 points every night, not even close, but he gets close to 25 to 30 minutes a night. I know in OKC, Brooks got a lot of flack, but it was known a lot of his lineups issues were dictated by Presti. I'm not familiar enough with his history to know if it's the same here, but as the GM is saying, we're paying Bertans money, so we need to play him. I mean, we have Matthews, who might not be as good as a three-point shooter as Bertans when he's not, which is, one game in 4 or 5. Matthew gives you so much more on defense and just straight-up hustle. Neto and Matthews are the same player for me. Undersized, but, man, they both battle. They hit their open threes, plus they defend. They battle every single time on the court, and both are irritants that cause opposition to foul and frustration. I'd rather have both on the court than having at best inconsistent shooter and Bertans. Liability on defense just because he's getting paid. Your thoughts? Love you guys, your analysis. Keep up the great work. All right, so before Ray starts in, again, just offer my 2 little cents. He spaces the floor. Like, it's like a necessary evil because of the roster. He spaces the floor enough to where you don't openly walk away from him when he's on the floor. And again, like as far as spacing goes, that's why, like Cardell was about earlier, you can't take him out for Bonga because, Lord, if we're already trapping somebody, now I got an extra defender to trap. Now I'm going to get even more aggressive with the type of junk defenses I'm throwing. You can't do that. So at least if he's out there, like even in transition, I know I got to defend him tonight too. Even in transition, like there's times in games where he does a great job. In transition, he does a good job finding a spot. He gets the ball in rhythm, and he usually knocks it down in transition. Again, in the half court, hasn't been the greatest year for him, but it's at times, again, there's always somebody connected to him. And that's all you can ask when you have somebody like Brad and Russ, especially having Russ on the floor like we've seen Russ throughout his career. You have to have at least one shooter on the floor where somebody has to stay attached to him to continue to keep the driving lanes open. So even if he's not hitting, yes, we know he's not hitting as well as anyone would like, probably as well as the contract dictates. That said, no disrespect. Between Garrison Matthews and Bertans, which one are you most likely to help off of? And I also I think Neto gives you a little bit more than Garrison Matthews. It's evident by his routine playing time and the stretch that he's had recently. I think we were just talking about this the other night. But go ahead, Ray. Get into this. And then Cardell.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think people misconstrue our criticism of Bertans by saying, he should maybe have a larger role on the team. I mean, we're just in that day and age where specialists are getting these massive deals. Like, back in the day, a player that offered what Bertans offered wasn't getting nowhere near 80 million or even the equivalent of what 80 million would have been, back then, because of his limited range of skills. If he was even able to stay on the team, because it was a point where if you weren't playing defense, then they ain't had no use for you. So, but yeah, man, and he's there. Of course, he's there to knock down shots, but mainly, like Wilson said, he spaces the floor to allow Brad and Russ to work. So yeah, man, he needs to be out there more often than that, and when he's not playing well, he's not out there. So yeah, and Matthews is not playing for a reason. Neto has been stepping up tremendously. Ish Smith is back. It's hard to find minutes for Garrison Matthews. Like, he hustles and all that, but it's hard to put him in over those guys who also hustle and who also score consistently and who also can initiate the offense, bring the ball up, and and relieve some pressure from and give Russ spells where he can get some rest. So I mean, yeah, man, I always love a guy that plays with intensity like Matthews does, but you know, from a personnel standpoint, like they need Bertans out there, you know, and of course we've said many times he needs to be more consistent, especially with the contract he has. But you know, it is what it is, man. You can't just go off personal feelings and say, you know, the man shouldn't be on the floor in favor of somebody that wouldn't provide what he provides. Like, you know, even he has been struggling shooting, you know, by his standards and what he's being held up to. Again, like Wilson said, somebody is going to be accountable for him at all times if he's on the floor. Nobody's just going to leave him open and let him shoot. You know, so even when he's not contributing, he's slightly contributing, just for the simple fact that somebody's got to pay attention to him. So yeah, man, like I know we get on his case a lot, you know, for his defensive shortcomings and all that, but truthfully speaking, man, like who else are you going to put out there on this team? Like that's one thing we got to be realistic about. If there was a better option, Scott Brooks has proven he will go with the better option, but he feels like that's, you know, going with Bertans for most of the minutes is what they need to win. And as of late, they've been winning. So again, I'm going to trust that man to do his job.
Cardell, did you want to add in here?
Yeah, man. His job is to shoot, obviously from deep, but it's also to spread the floor. The defense has to stay honest when he's on the floor. They have to, because he can get hot at any minute. He has range, and regardless of, you know, when we get on him for his defense and stuff like that, and not, you know, always being consistent enough as we would like, he's still shooting 40% from three, which is elite. You know, you shooting that is the reason why the elite level for efficiency from a score is 50, 40. 90 club, you know what I mean? And the 40% is from 3-point range. You know, I like Matthews, man. He fought his way up through the ranks in the G League, even with the Wizards, fought his way up to get in the rotation, started a few games and whatnot, but he's not as complete a player as Neto. He's just not. You know, Neto, for the most, what people may not know, he played with the Jazz before and Philadelphia. So he's always been around the league, but it's just with this team, he's kind of flourished. He's a better all-around player, even though he's smaller than Matthews. He can shoot better than Matthews. He can score better than Matthews. They're both great defenders, but Neto's a pest. You know, he make dudes pick up the dribble and get the whole ball up. And he's a point guard, so he can facilitate and do what's necessary. It's the reason why he's starting. He's been starting as of late, especially starting over the last month or so when the Wizards really took off and got in this position that they're in now. He also does a great job of taking pressure off Brad and Russell Westbrook when teams are focused on him as far as bringing the ball up and running the offense from different spots on the floor. You have to look at all of that, man, before you just, you know, go there. But Bertans has his role. Every player has the role. Everybody can't be a star. His role is to knock down shots. Now, my criticism of him is defense. I need to see more. You know what I mean? I'm not saying be an all-NBA defender, but get in the way. Somebody get in the lane, you know what I mean? Go up big, wall up. Just be a presence, you know what I'm saying? Like, give your teammates enough time to come help you. And a lot of times, by the time they turn around and try to help, the defender's already gone. They already passed him. That's my only thing with him, man. And it just, you know, do your job. Because if you're not hitting shots, and we all know your liability defensively, it's 4-on-5. You know what I mean? So, you know, it is what it is.
All right. Hold on. Somebody asked for this, so let me try to share the screen real quick. This is from Two Loves 2. I'm not sure if it's there on YouTube. All right. So I'll show you guys where you can watch it on YouTube, and then the links for all of it. So give me a second to share the screen. Do that before we leave here. This is one of the places you can catch it the day afterwards. It's on YouTube. Head over to Finest Magazine. I need to make it a little bit bigger so you guys can see. And on again, it's just Finest Magazine on YouTube. You head right there for it. All right, give me a second. I'll get the other link up. Appreciate y'all on IG being so active tonight. And then on Twitter, it's the Focus TV. It's the Focus _TV. It's really easy. And then on YouTube, it's the Focus TV. I'm sorry. On Twitter, it's the Focus_TV. On Instagram, it's the Focus TV, all one word. And then also on YouTube, you can find it at My Mind on Sports. So it goes on both YouTube pages the day after. I think Cardell puts it out the same night. It goes on My Mind on Sports the morning after. But that's where it is for YouTube. And then on Twitter, I'll get you guys where it is on Twitter. We work tonight. And what's it called? We got the next tour against the Hawks, right?
Yep.
All right. Mm-hmm. Get this for you real quick. It's the only thing when you on here sharing screen, it takes forever to load. All right. I'm talking about this spinning super slow right now. So for the Focus_TV. Got you. Also, this is from 2 Love 2. Russ, my favorite active player because his mentality, just how KG is my favorite all-time player. Only gripe of late on D puts our bigs in tough situations with the way he be trailing. LOL. You guys, any thoughts on that before we?
What do you say? What's the first part he said?
My bad. Russ is my favorite active player because his mentality is just how it's just like KG is my favorite all-time player. Only gripe of late, and this is about Russ, is on defense. He puts our bigs in tough situations with the way he trails the play.
I mean, he gambles too much. You can see that. Yeah, look, man. Outside Neto, Gafford, Matthews, Rui. I'll put Rui in there, and Hutchinson when he plays. Yeah, you're gonna get some inconsistent defense. So it's hard to just pick on Russ like with that, man. But yeah, he gambles. He gambles a little bit too much at times. But when he needs to wall up and accept the challenge and play fundamentally sound, he knows how to do that too.
All right, and then here you go. It's on screen. This is where it is on Twitter. It's just the Focus_TV. You already seen it on IG. You're commenting. So again, thank you all for hanging with us tonight. We'll be back. What is it, Monday?
Yeah.
Monday night for the Hawks, and then Wednesday again, and then Tuesday always Focus TV at 8 p.m. For Cardell, Ray, and myself, y'all have a great evening and enjoy your Sunday.